All right, so for the first episode, I thought it would be a cool idea to interview Jessica to talk about how we got started into wedding photography, which was our first real business that really did well for us. We've done multiple businesses, but you only need one or two big wins to change your life. And the wedding business was our first big win. So I wanted to talk to her about how we got started. We recorded the episode last night, actually, after the kids were to bed, and I'm making this intro the next day. So yeah, let's get into it.
All right, we're rolling. Joined with my beautiful wife, Jessica.
I'm nervous.
Why are you nervous?
I've never been interviewed like this before.
Well,
I haven't brushed my teeth.
she did. She brushed her teeth for this. We're literally sitting on the couch with an iPhone because when you have 3 kids and you want to make a podcast, this is how it gets made. This is life. So yeah, I just wanted to basically interview you for the first one and talk about what got you started in this business. We have a wedding photography business. Had it for a few years now.
6.
6 years
Just over
now.
6 years.
Just over 6 years. And recently you got to quit your job and do this full time. So
It's been 11 months.
11 months
It's
of that.
almost been a full year. that
Yeah.
I've not been working a 9 to 5.
Yeah, so I thought the first episode would be a good thing to just go back and review that. What got you started? It was your idea to do that. So I know we both worked 9 to 5 for the same company, mind you. And we kind of had the realization that like we weren't really thrilled with our 9 to 5s. And we just had our daughter. She
I was
wasn't.
going to say, having kids changed that.
Yeah, so walk me through that.
So it's kind of a funny story because I remember this very vividly. It was when we first got pregnant with our first child. I had maternity photos taken, and I got the photos back. And the first thing, there was 2 things that crossed my mind. The first thing was I could take better pictures with my cell phone, and the second thing was they were all watermarked. So
Really?
I was disappointed with that. Now, mind you, it's not like I paid a whole lot of money. It is very true what they say. You get what you paid for. But like, that was kind of my first, like, if she's making money doing this and I felt like I could take better pictures with my cell phone, why can't I make money doing this?
Really? I forgot about that.
Yes. So that's kind of like that initial. So then I had a conversation with my mom, and they had just bought a pretty decent camera. Not super fancy, but something pretty decent. And she was like, "You know what? You are pretty good at taking pictures, even with your cell phone. You should do this." And I was like, "You know what? Yes, I'm going to do this." And so I picked up the camera. They ended up gifting it to me. Ultimately, it was kind of like, at first I kind of borrowed it. The first photo shoot I did was for free. The first several photo shoots I did were for free because I really had no idea what I was doing. I was shooting in auto mode, had no idea what manual mode was yet, but the best way to learn is by doing. And so I was like, I'm just going to do this. And if I offer it for free, nobody can complain. So that's kind of how I started.
And I legitimately don't remember a lot of this. So what did you pay for those maternity photos?
I think it was like $75 for like an hour. So it wasn't, it
Okay.
wasn't cheap, but it
Okay.
wasn't super expensive.
And like, what was your timeline from deciding, oh, I could do this to actually like doing it?
So it was short because I was pregnant. So it was probably just a few months because it was after we had our first child. So I didn't do it before then because I was pregnant. I was like full blown pregnant because I had the maternity photos at like 36 weeks.
You were all the way pregnant.
Yeah, I was all the way pregnant. So our daughter was born January. I don't remember how quickly I got started. All I know is that by October I had booked my first wedding.
Your first shoots, what were they? They were family shoots, right?
Family. They were kids, actually. Yes.
They were kids?
Yes. Of a friend of mine. Because I was like, let's do free photos. And that's the thing about friends. They're so amazing. And she was like, you know what? You can shoot my kids for me. I want some pictures of my kids. It's for free. Let's do this.
Shoot photos of the kids.
I mean, Yes. Yes, shoot pictures of the kids. Although some parents might say,
Yeah, yeah.
you can shoot my kids.
So, all right, I remember your mom giving you the camera and saying,
Yeah.
hey, you'd probably be good at this.
Yes.
And then, like, did you know right then you wanted to go into weddings, or what was your...
No, because weddings are so intimidating. Like, it was initially just doing pictures and stuff. And again, I have to credit my mom because they were basically like, you should try weddings. That's where the money's at. Like, you can do photo shoots here and there, make a couple $100, but weddings, that's where you make... That's where, not saying you can't quit your job doing family photos and maternity shoots and newborns, but
Yeah.
weddings is where it's at.
See, that's so funny because I don't remember you going through the whole, the kids shoots. Did you... I mean, obviously you told me about it, but like, what was my reaction to you saying you wanted to be a photographer?
You're always super supportive of me, and I love that about you. But I think it's just a typical reaction. You know, anytime anybody wants to start a business, people are like, "Oh, okay, okay."
Pat you on the head.
Okay, good girl.
You got a sport.
you go ahead and do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then and so I did several. My first, I won't lie, I did a beach photo shoot. I don't remember if you remember, for some friends.
No.
Yeah, so for some very close friends, we were at the beach.
Oh, yes.
Not naming names, but we did some beach photo shoots.
Well, we can name names. Not a big deal.
And I edited them because, again, editing is probably, even more so than taking the pictures, editing is probably the biggest part. So I edited them and delivered them back.
That's right.
And it was awful.
Yeah.
The response was, "Is this me?"
Yeah.
Because it was over edited.
One of the friends she shot at the time ended up being our associate photographer.
Yes.
Years down the road, but that time I remember she said, "Is that me?"
I over edited like the face and the facial features, and anyways, it was awful.
But obviously you stuck with it and got a lot better.
I didn't let that hold me back. I wasn't like, "Oh, I give up because my editing sucks."
That's key, because that probably didn't feel good to the ego, right? Did you ever think like maybe this wasn't the thing for you, or you know, did you ever have any kind of that imposter syndrome?
I definitely had the imposter syndrome. I didn't have the whole where I'm done. I'm not doing this anymore. I haven't had that, knock on wood, thankfully. But I've definitely had the imposter syndrome as far as like, there's no way I'm this good, or I'm going to be that good, or there's no way somebody's going to pay me, you know, several thousand to do their wedding, to shoot their wedding. Like, that doesn't feel real to me. Like, why me? Like, why would they hire me over another photographer? Because when I see another photographer's pictures, I'm like, theirs are so much better than mine.
Yeah. But it's like, you know, that they didn't used to be.
Right.
At one point they were where you're at.
Yeah. Yeah, and I have friends now that reach out to me for, you know, to get mentoring and stuff, and even now they're like, I just want to be where you're at. So it's like, you're always going to be in a spot where you wish you were further along, like where you wish you were even better. So no matter how good you are, you're going to wish you were better. And so, like, I remember being in my friend's shoes and wishing that I was where I was at today, you know, and now that I'm here, I wish I was, you know, even further along with some of the photographers that I love to follow. So
then how did you learn how to shoot weddings?
Oh my gosh, I just did it. I totally, because
it's the best experience.
I just did it. I jumped 2 feet in. I learned how to shoot manual. That was the first thing. Now, my first wedding, I literally flipped between manual mode and auto because I was terrified that I wasn't doing it correctly in manual mode. So I did kind of flip flop those settings.
Did you charge for that first wedding?
I did. My first wedding I did not do for free. I did a 6-hour wedding for $400.
Oh, it was $400.
$400. It might have been $500. I can't remember. It was.
You were profitable though, your first wedding.
I was. I made money. Yes. My first wedding. It was 6 hours. I did it by myself. It was a learning. That wedding was the best learning experience for me, for sure. Your first wedding you'll never forget.
How was it a good experience for you?
Well, it was a small wedding. It was private. I learned some things to do and not to do. I'm trying to think. Gosh, it's been 6 years. So And we've done a lot of weddings since then. But it was just because it's your first. Like, you don't forget your first of anything.
That's right. That's funny.
So, yeah.
So how long was that after you said, I'm going to be a photographer to shooting your first wedding? Was that like a month, 2 months?
It was probably, I want to say 6 months or less. I can't remember exactly. I don't remember the exact time. But I built my portfolio first as far as like, I need to at least take pictures.
Yeah.
Like if I don't have pictures, I can't do wedding. And then I advertised on Facebook on all the local like buy and sell groups. And I created like a little flyer using Canva of some of my family photos that I've taken and offered, a full day's wedding for less than $500.
You just posted in the free groups.
I did. I posted in the free group. So I didn't even pay for advertising.
How many groups did you post in, roughly?
All of them.
All of them, yeah. All the Facebook groups.
I don't even know how many.
But that's a good tip for local photographers just starting out. There's a lot of free Facebook groups where you can post business stuff like that and get your first bookings pretty easily.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it was just like your city buy and sell, or your city and, there's a barter site. I actually bartered one time. I don't know if you know this.
No. What did you barter?
I bartered a maternity photo shoot to get my hair done for free. So I did maternity photos for this lady's daughter, and in return, she highlighted my hair and cut my hair and dyed my hair all for free.
Huh.
This was way back in the beginning.
Whose idea was it to do the hair thing versus money?
Well, because I posted in a barter site.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
And she reached out and she said, hey, if I'm a hairstylist, if you're interested, my daughter needs some maternity photos.
Oh, wow.
And me, I'm like, I need to build my portfolio. And although that's not money, it was still I need my hair done too. So,
yeah. Well, you knew, though, that you needed experience. You needed a portfolio first and foremost.
Yes.
You weren't going to get weddings until you had those things.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So
Gotcha. I think that's a huge business lesson is like speed is the most important thing in business, right? Speed to fail, speed to success. Just get in motion and that's what keeps people hold back because people don't want to fail. But the quicker you fail, the quicker you learn, the quicker you succeed. So I'm a big fan of that, doing things fast with speed when it comes to business. So you didn't make a website first, right?
No.
You got the camera, you learned how to use it, you've got some free shoots.
Mm-hmm. I actually, to learn manual, I would actually practice with my daughter's Mickey Mouse Clubhouse figures. I would put them on the counter.
Ah, yeah.
And I would play with my settings.
Like little people, yeah.
But like little people, yeah. But my first wedding, it was less than 12 months for sure because I had my daughter in January. So I want to say give it a couple of months. So probably sometime March, April, May-ish is probably when I started doing pictures.
What was the feedback from that first wedding you got?
Well, so overall it was good. One of the lessons that I had learned is to not deliver raw images. It was my first wedding, delivered the images. She loved them. She wanted more. And editing's a huge part of the process. And she said, I just want the raw images. And me being a newbie said, sure. Well, your raw images are nothing like your edited images.
Yeah.
And I shouldn't admit this, but she was basically disappointed in the raw images, which is funny because what I delivered, she was completely happy with.
That's what raw means. They don't look good.
They don't look good. They're not supposed to. That's what the whole editing process is for.
Yeah.
So that was one of the lessons I learned from that first wedding is I will never deliver my raw images.
Huh. See, I wouldn't care about that. Mm-hmm. Like, I'd deliver raw images. If they don't like them, it's like, cool.
It's like a painter delivering like a blank canvas.
I'm just curious to know, like, what did they expect with raw images? Like, the lighting's going to be terrible,
Mm-hmm. Right. And that was her, not complaint. She knew I was brand new in wedding photography. So that's the biggest thing too, obviously. The first wedding I booked, I was very forward. Never done wedding photography.
Yeah.
and was very upfront with her. She was totally okay with it. It was a wedding on a budget in a backyard, and it was cute. Don't get me wrong. It was
Those are
actually
the best,
It was
yeah.
a cute backyard wedding. But yeah, and she gave me some feedback on the images, specifically the reception. The reception was outdoors. It was nighttime. Again, I'm a brand new wedding photographer. I don't know
Yeah.
anything about, flash photography yet. And
So when did
Yeah.
you get like good feedback to where you're like, oh, I could really make something of this?
oh my gosh, that's a good question. I'm trying to think back. I don't even. It's funny. Like you remember the first man on the moon. You don't remember the second. I remember my first wedding. I don't remember my second wedding.
Yeah. Well, it was a while ago, and you've done a lot of weddings since then.
It's been a while. I don't think I had like this aha moment. I think what you've kind of said in our wedding guide for beginners is the market kind of dictates. Like I kept doing it, and of course, the more you do it, the better you get.
Yeah.
And I kept booking and booking and booking. So I'm like, I'm going to increase my prices because I
Yeah.
was searching local wedding photographers and seeing where my work was at versus where their work was at as far as quality. And then eventually I'm like, I feel like my work is just as good as theirs. So now my prices are basically, competitive with theirs.
Yeah.
And people, they hire me for that. So it's kind of a cool thing, I think. Going from $400 a wedding to, a couple $1,000s a wedding.
Yeah, and what's cool is like I've seen you really progress year after year.
Mm-hmm.
Like I can honestly say like you're an amazing photographer. You're extremely good at,
And I don't feel like
at what you do.
that's more my that imposter syndrome kicks in.
Yeah, but like sometimes I'll see your photos and I'm like, yeah, wow, you took those. Those they look like a postcard. Like they're
Yeah.
really, really strong.
Yeah. Well, you remember your cousin's wedding?
Yep.
We took a picture there, and she showed it at work. It was part of like a PowerPoint, and they were
Yeah.
like, "Oh, where'd you get that on like not Shutterfly? Where's that? Like, there's like a stock image website."
Yeah.
They're like, "Oh, is that where?" And she's like, "No, this is my wedding photo." And they were like, "No way."
That's
And then
right,
she
yeah.
she told me about it because she was like, "That's so cool."
Which is funny because like when you started this business, talk about like the whole goal of like why you even wanted to go down this road to begin with.
Definitely having my daughter. That changed my life because when I had her, it was I need to be at home more with her. She's not going to be this little forever. She's not going to be this young forever. And my goal was to do this full time so that I can be with her full time.
Yeah. And fast forward, 5 years down the road.
Yep.
And we had worked pretty hard on those goals and we were able to actually make that a reality.
Yeah, not include now we did videography for a little while.
Yeah. When did we add that in?
That was about 2 years ago.
Is that it? Just 2 years?
It's only been about 2 years. Yeah, not too long.
Wow. So here's a story of how we added videography in. The business was starting to pick up, and we were having a conversation, and she and Jessica said, "Do you remember this?"
I don't know. I'm listening.
Jessica said,
I feel like I'm hearing this for the first time.
We were talking, and she's like, yeah, things are going well, and if I can somehow incorporate, or if I could add videography, we could charge a lot more. We could double our prices. And at the time, I was going through this entrepreneurial, shiny object syndrome. Where I was trying to do like 10 things at once because I was just getting into wanting to make money myself. I wanted to leave my 9 to 5. And so I was looking for any way and every way I could to make some extra money. And I thought, I'll do it. And
It's as easy as that.
like,
really is.
like legit, that was it. From that day, like we got us a used camera off eBay for $500.
Yep. Had it that week.
That week, within 30 days, I was shooting my first wedding video.
Now we did the first. I don't know how many weddings we did. The first one for free.
The first one was free, yeah, because I wanted to get
free
experience.
is key. If that-
Free will get you the quickest bookings ever. And I thought I just wanted to hit the pavement fast and furious. Let's just rip the Band-Aid off. So I did my first wedding for free. It was awful.
We needed a portfolio though.
Yeah. But like you said, great learning experience.
Do you remember your first wedding?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. The couple wanted My Girl, the song in the video. And that's where I learned about music licensing. That wasn't actually allowed to do that. So a lot of good lessons in that. But now for a couple of years now, we've been rocking photo and video for weddings.
Yeah.
So we've been to a lot of weddings, brought on associate photographer. So it's been a
have
little,
two. We have two
now
now.
we have two.
Yeah.
But for a long time, it was just the three of us going to weddings.
Mm-hmm.
And now 5 years into the making, you were last year able to quit your job.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So talk about that.
About quitting my job.
Yeah.
That was the best thing ever. I won't lie. I mean, who wants to work 9 to 5? I mean, you and I both worked for the same company, and it was a really, really large company. It was, one of those things where like they're not going to miss me. Like, it's not like I didn't feel. I know I was valued to an extent, but there's just nothing like being your own business owner and doing your own thing and running things and doing things how you think is best for your business versus doing what somebody thinks is best for their business, and working for somebody else. So, yeah, it was amazing. So I quit. Literally, my last day was December 31st of 2021. And I have not looked back. I don't regret it at all. We've even made some business improvements since then and some changes and, whatnot. But I felt really at peace with quitting, and moving forward, doing the photography stuff. And it's definitely been a huge blessing. It's been awesome. And, we've booked a lot of weddings this year, looking to book some more next year and, keeping that ball rolling.
Yeah. So now you're able to, homeschool the kids and basically have a totally flexible life.
That's amazing. I mean, it was with COVID, I definitely got a huge taste of like the work from home life. And then they wanted us back in the office. And I was like, oh no, this doesn't work for me. Now that I've been at home and I can work from home and I can be with the kids more, going back to the office full time just wasn't an option. And I think the biggest thing for people is like they settle. And I didn't want to settle for that. I wasn't okay with that. And so, rather than just being like, okay, I'll go back to the office, I was like, nope, we're going to make this happen. We're going to quit. I'm going to quit. We're going to do more weddings. We're going to, so yeah.
Yeah. And we actually both quit our 9 to 5s really the same year. I quit to do freelancing sales, and that went very, very well, which allowed Jessica to quit. But it's because of the photography business being what it was that really made us feel safe. I mean, we both quit our 9 to 5s the same year with 3 kids.
That feels so unreal to say that.
Yeah.
Like, talk about imposter syndrome. Like, I don't even know if it's a thing, but like to look back and think, oh my gosh, we're so crazy for quitting our salaried jobs. And we made decent money. Like, we weren't making, $12 an hour. We were making really good money. And looking back and thinking that you and I both, I don't even want to say gave it up, because it's not, I didn't feel like I was giving anything up, but like that we both, wanted to do better for ourselves and better for our kids and better for our lives. It's funny to look back and think that we quit those jobs.
Well, I mean, most people would think that's a pretty stupid thing to do.
I've had people be like, "Are you crazy?"
But
like, you know what? I am.
But most people, I would say, are probably unhappy in their jobs and with the income they make. So our take is like the biggest risk is taking no risk at all.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. Yep. Agreed.
So what, any pointers, any tips you'd have for aspiring photographers, wedding photographers, couples that want to get out of their 9 to 5?
I mean, what are you waiting for? Like, I guess. I mean that in the nicest way possible, but like, I don't know. It's looking back, of course, it just 5 years will fly by, whether you're doing something about it or not.
Yep.
And so why not do something about it? Like people are like, well, I don't have the best camera and I don't have the best lens. All I have is one lens. I used to shoot weddings for like a year and a half until I had enough money with one lens and one camera. Now, I would not recommend one camera, hindsight, of course. However, if you don't jump in, I mean, you're never going to learn, you're never going to learn to swim. And the biggest problem, I see, because I have some friends who are trying to start photography, which I'm so supportive of. Their biggest thing is, I don't feel like I'm good enough, or I don't, have enough money for another lens, or, whatever. And I'm like,
Yeah.
you just got to keep doing it. Like, not doing it is not an option.
Yeah, that's the thing. You're not good enough. And that's why I need to keep doing it. You need to take so much action that becomes unrealistic, unreasonable, that you wouldn't be successful at it. If you keep doing the thing, it's unreasonable that you won't get better at it.
And I had a friend who did a family photo shoot, and she texted me because she had somebody wanting to pay her to do another family photo shoot, and she was basically like, I don't feel like I can charge them because I'm not good enough. And I was like, yes, you should charge them. They're offering to pay you. Like, that should be your sign.
Yeah, I would have said you should charge them and make sure you're good enough. Like, spend the next couple of weeks or month or whatever, or much time you have to practice and get better. The limiting mindset is what keeps people held back most of the time in business.
And I didn't second shoot. I didn't shadow. I didn't do any of that.
Oh, it's true. Yeah.
So I know the biggest thing right now in the photography world before doing weddings is make sure you're a second shooter and make sure you're shadowing, and make sure. I would never discourage that. However, if you're not getting bookings for second shooting, if you're not able to shadow and like month after month after month goes by, again, like, don't let that discourage you. Like, do something about it. Like I didn't have anybody to shadow. I didn't have anyone to second shoot with. So, I was super clear with my first client, with first bride and groom, and they were okay with me being new to weddings, and they went ahead and booked me anyways. So you just got to go for it. Like, what do you have to lose? That's my biggest thing. Like the business concept, business principles, business costs, like photography is probably one of the lowest barriers to entry as far as starting a business when you think about it, like cost wise. Like, what other businesses do you know you could spend easily less than $2,000 and be making money, within a couple of months?
Well, people don't like to feel not good at something.
Right.
And so they try not to do things that they're not good at. Whereas
because it's uncomfortable.
My whole approach has been like, how bad do I want to do something? I don't care if I suck at it. Eventually I will get better. It was like that with music, with video. It was like that, for your photography. It's like that for my career in sales. So cool. That's a lot of good takeaways.
I can talk about it forever. So we've got stories to share. I can share wedding stories and, business, things that I've learned along the lines. But anyways, I could talk on and on about it.
Yeah, this is probably a good time to wrap up. So thank you. It was fun reminiscing and going back through that memory lane there.
Yeah. Good deal.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Okay, bye.
Guys, I hope that was useful, or at least mildly entertaining for somebody. We'd love to know your feedback on that and what else you'd like us to discuss on this show. Take care.